Hello friends. Today in this video we are going to show you the top 50 NBA playoff scorers of all time. These legends delivered when it mattered most, the postseason. Let's start the video. At number 50, Nikola Jokić, 2,340 points. The Joker's all-around game makes him one of the most dominant big men in playoff history. At number 49, Rasheed Wallace, 2,384 points, known for his intensity and timely scoring during the Pistons' championship run. At number 48, Paul George, 2,416 points, a two-way superstar who elevates his game when it matters most. At number 47, John Stockton, 2,436 points. The NBA's all-time assist leader could also score when needed. At number 46, Byron Scott, 2,451 points, a key contributor to the Showtime Lakers' high-powered offense. At number 45, Jaylen Brown, 2,480 points, one of today's rising stars who thrives under playoff pressure. At number 44, Chauncey Billups, 2,526 points, earned his Mr. Big Shot nickname with clutch playoff performances. At number 43, Richard Hamilton, 2,571 points. His mid-range game was nearly unstoppable during Detroit's title run. At number 42, Jimmy Butler, 2,597 points, transforms into a different player when the playoffs begin. At number 41, Kevin Garnett, 2,601 points, brought intensity and scoring to every playoff appearance. At number 40, Bill Russell, 2,673 points, won 11 championships while still putting up impressive numbers. At number 39, Ray Allen, 2,749 points, one of the greatest shooters in playoff history. At number 38, Patrick Ewing, 2,813 points, the heart and soul of the Knicks' 90s playoff runs. At number 37, Robert Parrish, 2,820 points, a consistent scorer for the Celtics championship teams. At number 36, Charles Barkley, 2,833 points, dominated despite never winning a title. At number 35, Jason Tatum, 2,836 points, quickly climbing the ranks of all-time playoff scorers. At number 34, Sam Jones, 2,909 points, a key scorer for the Celtics dynasty. At number 33, Russell Westbrook, 2,936 points, brings unmatched energy and scoring to the playoffs. At number 32, Clyde Drexler, 2,963 points. The Glide was nearly unstoppable in transition. At number 31, Reggie Miller, 2,972 points, one of the most clutch shooters in NBA history. At number 30, Chris Paul, 2,981 points. At number 29, James Worthy, 3,022 points, earned his Big Game James nickname for a reason. At number 28, Klay Thompson, 3,032 points, part of the greatest shooting backcourt in history. At number 27, Manu Ginobili, 3,054 points, the ultimate sixth man and playoff performer. At number 26, Kawhi Leonard, 3,084 points, a two-time Finals MVP with ice in his veins. At number 25, Julius Erving, 3,088 points. This man brought playground flair to the NBA playoffs. At number 24, Dennis Johnson, 3,116 points, a defensive stopper who could also score. At number 23, Paul Pierce, 3,180 points. The truth always came through in the clutch. At number 22, Kevin McHale, 3,182 points, perhaps the best low-post scorer of his era. At number 21, Wilt Chamberlain, 3,607 points, the most dominant force of his generation. At number 20, Elgin Baylor, 3,623 points, a scoring machine before his time. At number 19, Scottie Pippen, 3,642 points, the ultimate sidekick who could take over games. At number 18, Dirk Nowitzki, 3,663 points, carried the Mavericks to a championship with his scoring. At number 17, Magic Johnson, 3,701 points. The leader of Showtime, who could do it all. At number 16, Hakeem Olajuwon, 3,755 points. The Dream had the most unstoppable post moves. At number 15, John Havlicek, 3,776 points. The original Iron Man of the playoffs. At number 14, James Harden, 3,860 points. One of the most prolific scorers of this era. At number 13, Larry Bird, 3,897 points. The ultimate competitor who lived for big moments. At number 12, Dwayne Wade, 3,954 points. Flash carried the Heat to multiple championships. At number 11, Tony Parker, 4,045 points. The engine of the Spurs dynasty. At number 10, Stephen Curry, 4,083 points. Revolutionized the game with his shooting. At number 9, Jerry West, 4,457 points. Mr. Clutch set the standard for playoff performance. At number 8, Karl Malone, 4,761 points. The most prolific scorer without a championship. At number 7, Kevin Durant, 4,985 points. One of the most unstoppable scorers ever. At number 6, Tim Duncan, 5,172 points. The foundation of the Spurs' two-decade dominance. At number 5, Shaquille O'Neal, 5,250 points. The most dominant force of his era. At number 4, Kobe Bryant, 5,640 points. The ultimate competitor with a killer instinct. At number 3, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 5,762 points. His skyhook was the most unstoppable shot. At number 2, Michael Jordan, 5,987 points. Who performed best when it mattered most. At number 1, LeBron James, 8,267 points. The all-time leader who continues to add to his legacy. Who's your favorite playoff performer? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more NBA content.